Hi, it's Mark from Top Local. We're here with Bernie Pawlik. Pawlik Automotive in Vancouver, 18-time winners. 18 times. Come on. Best auto repair in Vancouver as voted by their customers. How are you doing, Bernie?
Doing very well this morning.
So, Audi S4. These are a fun little vehicle. This is a 2004 with the V8, and there was a drive belt change. What was going on with this vehicle?
Well, the vehicle came to us for a couple of issues. Actually, the belt wasn't the major one. It was, but we'll talk about the belt anyways. But actually, this was a major issue. It came in with there was some smoke coming out under the hood, and the steering felt really stiff. And it turned out that the power steering rack had a severe leak, also one of the hoses as well. So we replaced that. So that was a very major amount of work in and of itself. But we're talking about the drive belt today. Basically, we're talking about the drive belt because there's a bit of complexity involved in changing it.
I bet. This is a V8 crammed into basically a vehicle designed for a 4-cylinder engine on the platform. How did that work?
Well, in order to get the it's very tightly fit. Actually, when you look down into the hood, you can barely see the drive belt. I mean, there's no room to even put a tool on it. It's wedged in extremely tightly. The clearance is probably like between the front pulleys of the engine and the radiator, maybe an inch, but no room to put any tools in.
So what needs to be done to get the belt replaced?
Oh, it's a very good question. So Audi has engineered in a solution, and basically what you do is you remove the front bumper of the vehicle, and then there's several bolts that move the rad support forward, and actually the hoses, coolant hoses are all designed, and anything attached is designed to be flexed out a few inches so that you can actually get in and access the belt area. So we'll just share some photos at this point. You can see what that looks like. So here's our S4. Nice, still nice looking wagon, practical, and certainly very peppy with the V8 engine in it. So there is a view looking straight down into the engine compartment. There's the pulleys with the belt off. It's not a large belt on this vehicle. It actually, this just drives the alternator and the AC compressor on the front. Power steering is driven off the back of the engine, which is another nightmare in and of itself. We won't get into that one today, but basically this is the actual, this is with the rad support moved forward so you can actually access the belt. I've got another photo to share here. This is a sort of view of the front. So the bumper's off here and kind of a view looking at the engine, but you can see even this doesn't have a lot of clearance, but there's just enough to get in there. So
I think that there's a lot of other services on this vehicle that need that same procedure. Is that right?
Well, anything that requires work on the front of the engine will need that, and a lot of Audis with timing belts, you actually have to do this too. So some of the V6 models with timing belts, or even the 4 cylinders, you have to put it in the service position to pull the bumper off and slide it forward. I mean, on this vehicle too, if you need to get the alternator out, you've got to get that out. There's a lot of things that need to be done to do it. So I mean, it adds a fair bit of work to every job, but that's what you get when you have an Audi.
So I've driven an S4 and ridden in the V8 model. I've driven the V6 supercharged one, which is a later version of this. These things are little rockets. How are they for reliability?
I'd call it a fair car. I mean, Audis there's a few things that go wrong with these cars that are a little more than average. And once they get older, of course, things will go wrong. I mean, the steering rack in this vehicle is a pretty expensive job based on the price of the part, and then there's a lot of labor involved to remove it as well. So they're complex vehicles. When things do go wrong, they cost a lot more to fix. They're generally pretty reliable, but some things that come to my mind on various models, and I'm not saying this just specifically for the V8, but there are various models. There are things like crankcase breather issues, which are common on a lot of European cars. Ignition coils on Audi seem to die frequently, and they're actually one of the things that are pretty cheap to fix. The coils themselves are inexpensive, and the labor is really easy. You actually get back to the screen share for a second here, and you can actually see the ignition coils. Sorry, wrong car here. It's we'll skip the screen share for now. Am I back?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Okay. I should know that. The camera's blue. Anyways, okay. Yeah, so the ignition coils are mounted right on top of the engine on actually all Audis, the V8s, the V6s, 4 cylinders, and they remove extremely easily. So there's one thing that even though they do fail, they're extremely simple to replace. So that's a positive thing. But overall, I mean, they're nice cars. You know, again, as I say this with a lot of European, if you want to get a fancy European car, you just got to be prepared to spend more money to fix it.
And service becomes really important, regular service?
Absolutely. I mean, more important than any other car. And it drives me crazy when I see someone who owns an expensive car like this and they don't change their oil regularly enough. Knowing what the cost of an engine replacement is on a car like this, you just don't ever want to go there. So change your oil, do all the maintenance service. You just don't want to do anything extra because extras will come along, but just do whatever you can to keep it maintained and lasting a long time. A lot of European car engines will last for 20, 30 years. You know, there's Mercedes out there even with 40 or 50-year-old engines that are still running. So, you know, if you take really good care of your vehicle, it can last a long time.
So there you go. If you need service for your Audi, A series, S series, whatever it is, guys to see in Vancouver, Pawlik Automotive, you can reach them at 604-327-7112 to book your appointment. You must book ahead, or check out their website, pawlikautomotive.com, or our YouTube channel. Just search for Pawlik Automotive. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Mark.